jungle, hungry wild animals. No more hesitating, we're legends in the making. Gravity escaping, light speed breaking. Let's keep elevating, let's keep elevating. One for the morning, a two for the show. So buckle up, there's no telling where we're gonna go. A glory and fame, a silver and gold. So call us outlaws and leave the fortune for the bold. No more hesitating, we're legends in the making. Gravity escaping, light speed breaking. Let's keep elevating. Let's keep elevating. Oh yeah. A 5-4, a 2-2-1. We're gonna fly. We're headed straight for the sun. 5-4, a 3-2-1. We're gonna fly straight for the sun. No more hesitating. We're legends in the making. Gravity escaping, light speed breaking. Let's keep elevating. Let's keep elevating. Let's keep elevating. Let's keep elevating. It's explosive. I got metal running through my bones, a resurrection like a ghost. Hurricane, go ahead and blow. Where you could keep your white flag, I'll never fold. A shadow on the battlefield, a survivor never yield. A thunder, go ahead and shake. Don't run from the storm when I feel the rain. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. I got a fever in my blood, a falling embers from above. I feel the heat when the pressure blows, a wildfire that you can't control. There's no rest for the wicked, no victory for the weak. And when the weeds getting thicker, you'll never see me on my knees. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. You can't control this, it's explosive. With every beat of my heart, I'll be the lightning attack. You can't control this, I'm explosive. You can't control this, it's 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 explosive.
A weapon of choice when pushing the line. Go overtime and I won't break when it's crunch time. My end game is number one. Bet it all, give me my cash. Supreme game, can't stop it. Take off like a rocket. Break your back, don't bend mine. I'm the one one now, you can't hide. Legendary like legacy. This is our moment, our time. This is our moment, our time. This is our moment. This is our time. Time is now. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. Yeah. Coming for glory. We ready for war. The city's behind us. We giving you more. We ready whenever. The world is watching. The time is now. No other option. No other way. Play to win the way that we play. Destined for greatness, born to be great, ahead of the game. In front of the pack, leading the way, it's time to reign. The kingdom's here, this was our year. Been to the bottom, ain't nothing to fear, we running the game. Rush in the field, for every yard, on every play. Nobody's safe, rise when we fall, but never stay down. The champs is here, doing it for the town. This is our moment, this is our time. The time is now, it's time to rise. This is our moment, this is our time. This is our time. It's our moment, it's our time. Feet in the dirt, nose to the grind. Like moment after moment, day after day. It's our time.
At Click It RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Welcome, race fans, once again. I'm obviously not Wesley Allen, but I'll be back next week. But I got the next best person, we'll be talking to him here in just a few moments. And, of course, that is none other than Alex Robinson. Alex, I don't get to work with you very often, but we're here tonight, 2 30-lap races, and looking forward to some good racing. Not long racing, but some good racing, and a record car count here. So I got 12 drivers, and really looking forward to seeing what these guys can do.
And it's Daytona. I am so happy that you text me and you asked me to come for Daytona. It's everyone despises plate racing. Then there's me. I love it. It's always fun. It's always entertaining. And there's always tends to be a wreck, 1 or 2 near the end of the race.
Yes, and you will see that, historically as this series goes, they race kind of clean. So a little back history. The first race, based on qualifying, we will probably see a very clean race. We may see a caution, but it will probably go pretty clean. But the second race, and this is where it gets real fun, and we will see probably a caution. They do not qualify for that one. They take a 15-minute break. We'll interview the top 3. We come back. They completely invert the field. So if you finish first and you're fast, you're starting at the rear. So you have all your fast guys trying to get to the front. You will see that wreck happen in race number 2.
Who doesn't love a full field invert? It makes it all the better.
Yeah, it definitely does. You get to see, who was in the rear now at the front and the rear, and vice versa. It's always a blast. And you will see some of these drivers sometimes, if they get wrecked, they'll just park it. They'll park it and they'll come back in the second race. But again, a good car count. We were kind of struggling there for a little bit. Went down to 5 or 6 drivers, but we actually doubled that from last week. We've got 12 now here tonight, and probably some more are still on the way. As you had people like Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, Toby Ritters. These guys, you've heard their names from the Northwest. They're getting geared up for the Northwest Series, and they came in here and they said they need some reinforcements. They kind of got tag teamed last week. So they said, no, not happening again. We're bringing in the hired guns, as qualifying is just a few moments away.
hired guns.
Yes.
Don't think I've heard that. I don't think I've heard that term in a while, and I definitely don't think I've heard it in the sport of asphalt racing.
Well, see that's where you get the oldness of me. You're the young one here. Usually, when I'm working with Wesley, he's the old one. I'm the young one. Now I'm the old one, and you're the young one. So, I guess I got to use some of them old sayings like Wesley would do. But unfortunately, he is doing, I believe, basketball. I think that's the sport that's going on right now. So he is unable to join us. Had 3 tournaments today. So he's going to be completely worn out anyway. So we're glad to have you here in I guess what would be Jason's place, because Jason also can't be here. He has prior obligations, but qualifying is underway. And this is a name that we've not seen, at least not in a while. Cage Wenzel in the 108 machine. So you might have been around this track more than I have. What's the preferred line around? We're seeing the top side.
Oh, that's funny. You act like I qualify at Daytona.
Well, there you go. Now we get to bring up the good point: is do you qualify? Personally, I never did. Start in the back, see where you go. When you got a huge field of maybe 40 plus cars and you have to qualify in, yeah. But I don't know. I would probably not qualify here. Stay towards the rear and just kind of play this race out. What's your thoughts? You want to stay in the back or do you want to stay in the front? Where's your safe zone?
You do realize if there's more than 20 cars, I am definitely not qualifying because I don't want to be anywhere near that mid-pack. If you are not quick time and you are not dead last, it is interesting to say the least of where you're starting because it is not a fun time. Because it's one of those where if the inside line goes fast, and if you start inside, you're lucky. If you start outside, well, you got some ground to make up. And it's going to be interesting. Again, not a handful of cars, but there's always, we saw it yesterday, we saw it all weekend at Daytona. It's going to go 3 wide. It doesn't matter how many cars you have, but that outside line, if you can get the run and get the cars, that outside line is going to be quick. But I don't know. I wouldn't start, if I know I'm not starting quick time and I'm not starting on the front row, I'm not qualifying at all.
No, I definitely agree with that sentiment. Precisely. 100% agree. If I don't think I have the setup to put me on pole, I'm not going to qualify. I'm going to stay in the back, at least during qualifying, and work my way through this field. Especially if you got teammates. If 3 or 4 of you can stay back there, you can get to the front very quickly. With those teammates, as we have Bloom on a track and Moore as well. Moore going to put a little bit slower. He'll get that time up, I'm sure. Again, Bloom on track. Toby Ritter's on the track. So they got 3 trucks working together. I think they seemed a good shot, although there is another team with 3 or 4 drivers. So we could see this turn into a team battle, basically.
Oh, it always is a team battle. But again, okay, you got 3-4 cars on one team, 3-4 cars on the other. But then that leaves the rest of the drivers on that racetrack that don't care about whose team you're on because, I think it was the greatest saying in all of motorsports, and it will be 100% the 2024 quote of the year. At Daytona, I am not lifting till I see God or the checkered flag.
Well, there you go. That is definitely checkers or wreckers going on there. And, I agree, you got to do what you got to do here in plate racing. It really is a crapshoot. It is 50% luck. We'll say 80% luck and about 20% skill. You put yourself in that top 10, top 5, and then it is really about, a little bit of luck to get all the way to the finish line without chaos ensuing. As a few more drivers still to qualify, and while we wouldn't qualify, it looks like these guys are. So far everyone but Michael York and Gabriel Ellison have qualified. So we'll see if those 2 do qualify here in just a minute. They still have 5 minutes to do so. So, I say you have plenty of time, but it takes you about 1.5 minutes on your warm-up lap and about 1 minute per lap, so you really don't have a whole lot of time to get out and get going on if you're going to qualify.
looking at the times here, again, 8 cars qualified so far. You've got 3 cars on track that are looking for their times in Gowan, Sturgill, and now Carnathan just set a time. So only 4 cars that have not set times. 2 of them are on track now. And it's going to be interesting to see if the other 2 that have not touched the racetrack yet, if they're going to come out or if they're just going to be content with starting on that back row.
Yeah, we'll see. I would start on the back row as going now there. Nicholas going in ninth. Michael Sturgill will be putting in a lap this time as he's officially taken the green flag. And like you said, those drivers that were on track have now put in their times except for one. And Ryan Bloom, by the way, going to jump to 4th with a 52.255. We'll see what he does. Michael York has officially decided to come on the clock with 3:50 left. That should be plenty of time to get out and run some laps. And Gabriel Ellison, I think he's going to be the one that takes our advice, Alex. And I think he's going to start from the pit or start from the rear of this field.
It's one of those. It's also interesting to look at the manufacturers in this field. A lot of Chevys. Let's put it in retrospect. 3 Toyotas, 1 Ford, the rest are Chevys.
Yeah, that is very interesting. But nobody really ripping the Fords here tonight. They're like, nah, we don't need Fords. And I personally think they don't line up perfectly the same if they're not the same manufacturer. We've seen quite a few hooks from that, so this should make it a little interesting to see how they work together. I didn't get the chance to actually watch any of the NASCAR this weekend or Monday as, real work was getting in the way. But if you had a chance to watch it, did we see, any of the manufacturers? Did they work together, or was it all about teammates more than manufacturer mates, if that's even a word?
That I don't know, because I didn't even get to watch. I was on the road most of the day yesterday. I had some running around to do on day off, so I didn't even get to watch most of it. But it's always interesting after running all 3 trucks on super speedways. I like the Chevys on super speedway, so I understand where everyone is running the Chevys. Toyotas are an interesting truck here. Fords, I love Fords to death, but super speedways are not their friends half the times, and that is the biggest issue I've noticed is unless you know how to run these Fords perfectly on super speedways, it's not a fun time for them. But who knows? We saw it this weekend. The front row was Fords for the Daytona 500. Fords looked good up until the end, and then Hendrick decided to, start his reign of terror very quickly this weekend. But I don't know. I really don't know if these manufacturers, again, Andrew Miller right now sitting in 12th quick, so there's going to be the front 3 right now are Chevys, then the first Toyota in 4th, then Chevys from 5th all the way down to 9th before our Ford at 10th, and then 1 Chevy in between the Ford and the 2 Toyotas as of right now. So, again, I think the manufacturers, the Chevys are a little bit closer than anyone else around there.
And we'll be finding out exactly who's going to be a top dog here in about 1 minute. We don't always get to do this, but based on qualifying before we take to the grid, we'll get your predictions. Who is your choice for race number 1? Here's the race winner.
I got to go with Clifford. I got to go Toby Ritters.
Clifford, the big red dog. Toby Ritters. You know what? I'm going to go with Michael Sturgill. He's starting 2nd, and he's had some fairly good success here, so I'm going to go with Sturgill. You've got Ritters. Excuse me. And we got about 15 seconds before we get over to the racing action here. Again, I expected to see a caution-free, very low caution, maybe 1 in the first one, and you like to see the big one. Well, we're probably going to see that in the second race as they completely invert this field. as time has expired here for qualifying. And, well, we'll go ahead and run through the grid as we have 13 drivers on row 1. It's going to be Michael Drone in the 29. Is outside is going to be Michael Sturgis. We got the battle of the Michaels on row 1. Row 2 is going to be Dennis Moore in the 44, which always rhymes, and I like it. In the 97 of Joseph Plager in the number 97. Row 3 is going to be Ryan Bloom in the 22 and Michael York in the 25. Row 4 is going to be Stan Carnathan in the 82, and the outside, the 81, just one number lower, Nicholas Goen. And row 5 is going to be the 23. Your pick here to win, Toby Ritters. And on his outside, Bradley Rivers in the 15. Row 6, almost rounding out this field, the 108 of Gage Wenzel. And the 18 of Andrew Miller. We haven't seen Miller in a while, so good to see him back. And if he starts, he did not qualify, in row 7, the number 27 of Gabriel Ellison, who has just a ton of wins on this series. So we'll see if he does start or not. But, I got you here. You love plate racing. And, I said it doesn't take a lot of cars to put on a good race. And we're going to see some good racing with these guys here tonight.
And again, the first set, I will say the first set, I think, is, like you said, it's clean. It's going to be the feeling out process to see where they know where everyone else is going to go for that second set, because, everything can change between those two sets of races. But it's going to be I think the first 10 laps is going to be a feeling out. Everyone's going to be patient. Everyone's not going to force anything. But then once you get to that halfway mark is when they will start, I think, to, venture. If they're in that bottom group, they're going to try and go up top. Maybe they'll try and make that third line work. And again, it's going to be an interesting race for sure. But I think the second race is going to be the most intriguing one when the gloves will go off.
Yeah, I definitely agree, and we've seen it week in and week out. The second race is the one in, they get some nice little throwbacks here. We see Michael Jerome there, your pole sitter in the 29 machine, and anybody that's old school NASCAR like myself, you'll recognize that. Obviously, it was not on a truck, but a very nice chrome and black and red, a throwback to the days of Kevin Harvick. So, I've always liked that truck. He's run it multiple times, and we'll see if he can put it in victory lane here tonight.
It's gonna be a good one. What'd you tell me? It was 30 laps, right?
Yes, so twin 30s for tonight's race. So we'll run 30, take a 15-minute break. We'll talk to the top 3, come back and run 30 more. So we're not on the air long, about an hour and a half or so tops. It is not a very long event, as we're getting ready to take that green flag. And again, I'm ready for some good racing with these guys.
Race truck is in. There's the Geico restart zone. Now the green flag is out. 30 laps. Race number 1 of the twin 30s. Already we see it. We saw a little bit of a line change there. I don't know which driver it was, but I think he saw a gap up top and he took it right away. Again, those two lines right there, bottom, middle, going to kick in here through 1 and 2. But that top groove already has a few more cars than that bottom groove.
Yeah, there's just a few more, and that could be all the difference. We talked about it the last couple of days. It's kind of been a Daytona kind of week here on the channel, and you can have more cars, but you've got to work together good. And they're doing just that on the top and the bottom. They're bumper to bumper. They're pushing when they need to push, letting off when they need to let off. As everybody knows, you don't want to be on their bumper, pushing them through the corners right about now. And then you get into these little bit straights. You can get back on the bumper and push them some more. And they're doing a good job. They're just hanging tight as we've completed 1 lap already in the books. Now 29 laps to go. Again, this is about taking it nice and calm until those last 5 laps or so. And that's typically what they do. But you'll see some good, beating and banging and bumping, and these guys will put on a show for you here in the short amount of time they have to do it.
And you see a few cars dropping back. That top line got a little squirrely, out of sorts a little bit there, losing the draft, and now they have a lot of work to do, as some of those drivers, all of them are over a half a second back behind them, so they have some work to do here as they got to get back in a draft here, hopefully catch back up to them. Again, it's early on in this one, but that top groove, after running this track for a little bit, that top groove is a little bit harder to keep a draft going and stay in one single file line, unlike that bottom where it's one of those, you just need to keep your left front on that yellow line and hope and pray that everyone behind you and in front of you do it. That top side, it's a little bit harder because now you're on the banking a little bit more than that bottom side.
Yeah, and we'll go over to, I believe, the 97 is on the outside. We'll find the right camera if we can pull it up here just a minute. I know it's in here somewhere. There we go. You talk about the banking, and this is what you're talking about right there. You're really up on the banking, like you mentioned. You're having to, push them, stay off of them, make sure you don't wreck them. And that is one thing with these trucks, and, a little bit on the cup cars, but it seems to happen more on the trucks, is they get to their back bumper and they are trying to get air, and they'll hook that right rear, the left rear, and they end up putting them into the fence. So, you don't want to do that. You do not want to hook somebody around.
You watch right there in front is Sturgill, as Sturgill in that 90 car truck. You see him getting a little bit out of sorts at some points there, and again, is that banking, and then you get the speed, and you're not ready for that speed, but right now, that push gets him to the race lead here, as you see Sturgill and Plager, that top line now starting to work a little bit here, but now we saw Moore was on the inside there of Plager, so again, here comes that inside line right back to it, right back up front here. So talk about Plager running in the 4th spot, the only Toyota in the top 5 right now, as Ellison started dead last in 13th after not qualifying. He is up 6 spots into the 7th spot.
Yeah, and you really got to watch Gabriel Ellison. He has got a lot of wins. Just last week or the week before, he actually picked up his 50th win. So he has 50 wins here, and that's just in this particular league. He's got that many wins, so he is definitely somebody to contend with. You never want to count him out. Had I told you that prior, you might have picked him for the win, but we'll see. You got Toby Ritters, I've got Sturgill, and Sturgill really hadn't gone up or down here early on this race. Checking in with Ritters. He's up 2 so far, so he's doing it, and we're wrecking. And I hate to be that guy, but Ritters was involved in that wreck, Alex.
Oh, this time I'm blaming you 100% because you had to point out how that he went up positions.
Well, I mean, I am basically taking Wesley's job today, so he jinxed him a lot. So I guess that's my job here tonight, as we'll see exactly what happened here to bring us under the caution number 1 here on lap number 7. And just the truck getting loose, and that'll do it right there. Just the slightest little bobble with these trucks, and they can easily go around. So it is one of them things that's unfortunate to put us under caution number 1, but since we will go ahead and step aside here for just a moment. Commercial breaks are very limited in this series, is how quick they go, but we'll take one and we'll be right back.
Hustle inside of the huddle, you know that I grind. A dangerous mind, a weapon of choice when pushing the line. Go overtime and I won't break when it's crunch time. My end game is number 1. Bet it all, give me my cash. Supreme game, can't stop it. Take off like a rocket. Break your back, don't bend mine. I'm the one now, you can't ready for war. The city's behind us. We giving you more. We ready whenever. The world is watching. The time is now. No other option. No other way. Play to win the way that we play. Destined for greatness. Born to be great. Ahead of the game. In front of the pack. Leading the way. It's time to reign. The kingdom's here. This was our year. Been to the bottom. Ain't nothing to fear. We running the game. Rushing the field for every yard on every play. Rise when we fall, but never stay down. The champs is here, doing it for the town. This was our moment, this was our time. The time is now, it's time to rise. This is our moment, this is our time. This is our time. It's our moment. It's our time. Feet in the dirt, nose to the ground. Like moment after moment, day after day. It's our time.
At Click It RV, we know there's a lot of heritage and history at this location. RV sales and service has been part of this community for decades. We knew there was an incredible opportunity here, but to see where we've come in just a year is incredible. None of it would be possible without the patronage and support from this community. So whether it be a more convenient and accessible service drive, a fully stocked parts department, or this amazing sales facility, what drives this team daily is making sure our customers leave here with the best possible experience.
Welcome back, everyone. Here as the lights go off, we're going to get this thing fired back up here in just a few moments. As we had that one caution. We'll go green with start lap number 10. We'll have 21 laps to go. We did have one caution, Alex. We've had it already, probably earlier than we've seen some cautions, but we got that one out of the way. Maybe we'll go green the rest of the way. We'll find out. As everybody's still in this race, everybody's still on the lead lap. So we'll just kind of have to wait and see how it goes. But they were putting on a bit of a show here. They were definitely getting a little wild and western out there on the track. But we'll see what the rest of this race does entail, as we still got a lot of racing to go.
Yeah, no. Caution came a little bit sooner than I expected. I told you about after lap 10 the gloves might come off a little bit there. But again, it was just driver going up top and a little bit one of those weird mistakes of people tried to lift, people got a little loose, and only a few cars got involved.
Yeah, just a few cars getting involved, but they don't have any fast repairs, so they will have to get their damage repaired when they can. But just a few moments, we'll take the green, and we'll see if any of that damage is going to play a factor in how fast they are.
And only two drivers had a pit stop over a minute. That was Carnathan as well as Ellison. So only two drivers with over a minute of repairs that they took. So it's going to be one of those of Ellison, who was on a good run. We'll have to see, because we're getting to that Geico restart zone. Green flag will be back in the air here. 9 laps in the book.
And 9 laps down, working lap 10 is Sturgill, my pick out front, followed by Moore, Bloom, Jerome, and now Jerome will take third place. And you can't say he takes it, because they're going to swap spots back and forth. We'll check the leader counts here a little bit later on in the race, as we'll see they're going to go side by side. We've yet to see any 3 wide, and I don't really think we will. Maybe when we get in those last couple of laps, handful to go, but I just don't expect to see too much 3 wide, especially with only having the 13 cars. You really don't have enough to go 3 wide, but that isn't going to stop some of these guys. We'll still try it, I'm sure, later on in the race.
Desperate times call for desperate measures. If you ain't got nothing to lose, why do it?
Well, you got a point there, too. You come down to those last 5 laps and, you're back in, 10th or 11th or so, and you want to get the win or at least the podium, just do it. You go 3 wide, see if somebody will go with you. And there's a chance if you make the move, somebody will go with you, and you're not going to know unless you, just put it out there and go 3 wide. So time will tell. We have 20 to go. It'll be 19 to go when we get to the line. And real quick, we want to give a shout out to everyone tuning in here tonight. I know we got Turbo Gaming chilling with us in chat here on this Tuesday night. So big shout out to him. And let's see, I believe, see who he's going for. Nope, he hadn't let us know who he's going for. Let us know who you're going for in chat. We've made our picks as Sturgill out front. We're 2 by 2, about 3 deep before you have a little bit of a break in there as Plager and Miller getting a little wild there around 5th and 6th place. But, we're going back to calm. I think, Alex, we're going to see a little bit more calm now after that wreck. They didn't expect it so early, neither did we. So that may calm them down just a little bit.
Oh, it will for a little bit there. I think we'll go about 9 laps before the gloves come off here. Everyone just wants to stay close. That's the rule of thumb. You want to stay in the draft or as close to the draft as you possibly can. So you're not behind the 8 ball when it comes down to those final 10, final 5 laps, because you want to have a chance at this. And back to how we were saying about the 3 wide, it's just going to take one. If 1 or 2 drivers go and they get a massive run, somebody else is going to join the fray up top, and that's the only chance you have of making 3 wide work is if somebody does it and it makes a run. Right now, it looks like it's going to be 2 lines of racing here as you see Moore. Dennis Moore up front making the move, and he's going top and bottom here. He's protecting both lines, which is a smart strategy, but it's also a risky strategy, as we've seen it time and time again here. You might think you're clear up top to make a move, but it takes just a little bit of contact, and it could cause some major chaos here at Daytona.
Yeah, and nobody wants to see that chaos. But you do fear it is coming at some point as Sturgill gets knocked to 2nd place. Dennis Moore going to be up there, one of our Northwest buddies. Again, right now, this is seat time for those guys. They're just trying to get as much time as they can behind the seat before we get geared back up for the Northwest Truck Series. Going to hopefully be starting here in the near future. We'll be knowing more. They are having meetings, so they'll be knowing more soon, as it looks like he's got Ryan Bloom. But, this is the dreaded thing. Do you like it or not like it, Alex? You have your teammate, but he's sitting on the top lane. He's not behind you. Or do you like controlling both lanes?
Coming from both a driver and also have spotted countless Daytona races, Talladega races, if you and your teammate are controlling both lines, it's an advantage for both of you, because until that white flag comes and the gloves are off and it doesn't matter if you're teammates or not, you control the top 2 spots basically no matter what, because that top line isn't going away. They're either sitting in 2nd or 3rd 80% of the time, if not 90% of the time. So with being teammates, as you see right now, Bloom, Moore, those 2, if they would sit in the top 2 spots, they have the advantage. The issue is right now Sturgill being in the top spot and in the 90 truck. So say Sturgill decides to come down and go to that bottom side, Bloom up top, you still have that advantage of teammates. It benefits, but it doesn't, because your teammate, if you want to go up top, your teammate will let you know if you're clear to come up top, unless he wants to shut the door on you.
Yeah, you definitely you don't want that door shut on you. Well, we talk about this quite often in plate track racing. Talking about shutting the door. Cutting somebody off. Leaving them out to dry. Racers do have a memory. It may be short term, long term, but they do have one. And if you leave somebody out to dry or you cut their nose off, they're going to remember that come later on in the race, and they very well could pay the favor back. As we're going to see now, the 29 of Jerome going to come in there and a slide in front of Sturgill in the 90. He'll take the lead now. And now, this is where I'm curious. Are we going to see that outside lane? Could we potentially see the 44 get up there? And I believe he already has, as I spoke it. Yes, the 44 and the 22 get teamed up together. This could be interesting to see if they're going to try to work that outside lane and kind of be a powerhouse to teammates and get to the front and take this lead back.
Yeah, they kind of opened the door there. Jerome and Sturgill both went to the bottom side at the same time. So Moore saw it coming, and it kind of played into his favor a little bit there because they lost the draft from Plager, who was now in the 4 spot. So with Plager being, 2 car lengths behind there because of Moore being there, it gave them an advantage, and now that's where that top side's coming in because now they're right there as well. And we're closing in on almost that 10 lap to go, where these moves are going to get a little bit more dicey. Of guys are going to want to block that top side, block that bottom side, and it's where it gets racy here. Everyone says plate racing's boring, but man, when it's a short distance like 30 laps, every lap counts, and it gets dicey right away.
Yeah, I've never understood why, those people say plate racing is boring. They must have just watched them sitting on pit road or something, because plate racing is far from boring, and we're proving that right here, and we've said this earlier in the broadcast. It doesn't take a full field of 40 cars to put on a show. There's only 13 of them here. And you think about this for a minute, for anyone that's, thinking, well, 13 cars ain't a lot. But when you do plate racing, they break up into packs of, 15, 20 or so. We basically have the equivalent of what would happen if they get separated one pack. There might be another pack further back, but this is the pack and they're battling. So, it's really, not that different from, if we broke this field apart and there was multiple cars. At least this way, you get to watch the entire field on top of that. So I think it's about to get a little crazy. As we're coming up on 10 to go. You mentioned it, and it's about to get wild and crazy here at Daytona.
What if you ask a normal race fan here? Let's be honest, when you go to the plate track, 40 cars might start this race, but how many cars actually finish this race? Usually about 15, maybe a little bit less. We have 13 cars here. There's an 85-90% chance that all 13 cars finish this race on the lead lap if this thing stays green till the end. And it's going to be a great finish. As you see there, looks like a truck there tried to peek his way out to that top line. It's not going to work just with himself, but maybe if that whole top line decides to go up a groove, they might have a better run here because Daytona, that top line, that top groove is very fast if you get a line. And right now you see side-by-side action, but if that whole top groove goes up as close to that wall, it might work just a little bit better, and we might have a whole lead change here.
And I believe that driver we saw was the 27 of Ellison, looking out there just a little bit. Yeah, it was in that white, red, black, and white sim racer hub machine. He peeked out just a little bit, tried to make it 3 wide, decided better of it. As we come to 9 laps to go, we're going to be in single digits as Bloom takes the lead. And he drops Andrew Miller. He's just going to let him out there on the outside lane. And this is where, you, like you mentioned, I believe you're saying, you're going to see more and more of this. People are going to take their moves and, take their shot. They're going to get up there, cut the nose off the leader, and kill their momentum just a little bit, enough that they can take the lead. Those moves are going to become very prevalent here in just a few moments.
Bloom, Miller, Moore, Ellison, who remember was caught up in that early caution. He is now up to the 4th spot. Drone is your top 5 here with under 10 to go. But Ellison, again, we might have to, you said keep an eye on him. Right now, he's in the top 4.
Yeah, definitely Ellison, somebody you keep an eye on anytime he is on the track. And, I'm actually give a props to Andrew Miller here. His, not saying he's a bad driver, he's a good driver. It's just his luck has not been real good here in this series. He seems to have been crashed out more often than not, usually not to his own doing. somebody tags him or somebody tags somebody and they tag him. It just has not had the luck that you need here at Daytona. We'll see if he can hang on there in that number 18 machine, as he's currently third. He was second. That outside lane not quite working together. You can see the Ally machine back there. They're kind of scattered up a little bit. You've got to stay together, Alex, if you want to make a run.
Because right now it's opening the door that bottom line is the quickest line around the racetrack here. Again, it's a lot easier to stick together because you just need to stay around that yellow inside line. And if you stay around that yellow inside line, you're in good hands running the bottom side. Unlike that top side, there's a lot of gap between that car and the wall, anywhere in between. Right now it's Bloom, Miller, Moore, Ellison, Jerome. That is your top 5. And right now you see it there. Bloom getting the push from that 44 of Moore. Miller on the top side. Ellison also in the picture. And we're closing in on almost 5 to go here in the opening of the Twin 30s.
Yeah, there you have it. It says it'll be 6 to go. Like you said, closing in on 5. Just a handful of laps to go as Bloom is still out front. And now that inside lane really starting to show its strength. As you have Bloom and Moore, your front 2. And now they've really got together. And Toby Ritters, he's still in the lead lap. He's in 7th. He's looking to get up there and work with these guys as well. And by the way, Toby Ritters, not in his typical Clifford. He's in what looks like a Dale Jr. Baseball throwback scheme. And he's not far behind these guys. He's just 1 car away from being able to work with him. I believe that's the 97 or the 27 that's just in front of him. So it would not take much to get a 3-car or 3-truck team together. And those guys really could get a 1, 2, 3. It's not out of the question here tonight.
Yeah, but right now, with 5 to run here, we're going to go to 4 to run next time by. But Bloom, Jerome, Miller, Moore, Ellison, still your top 5 as Jerome and Bloom keep swapping back and forth in that top spot here. There comes that 22 yet again of Bloom getting the push from the 44 of Moore. Side by side, even they go into the corner here. And now under 5 to run, and we see it. We're getting a little dicey coming out of the corner as now 4 laps to go.
Yeah, it's go time. You know, you don't have any teammates out there. You know, maybe these guys would love to get a 1, 2, 3. They'll work together, but if you're wanting to win, you don't have teammates now. You have competitors, you know, friends, all that may be off the track, but right now, competitors, and that is all there is. As these guys going to duke it out. Got a little skirmish going in the back, but they keep it clean and green, just like the number 18 of Andrew Miller Interstate Batteries machine. And that's the way we want to stay. Coming to 3 to go. Good, again, a good run for Andrew Miller. Jerome up there in the 29. He started right where he's at, and he'd love to finish there as we come 3 to go.
Biggest thing right now that you got to talk about. The best thing, like I said before this race starts, these drivers know it now. With 3 to go, they are not lifting until they see God or a checkered flag. And that is the definition of super speedway racing at this point, especially at Daytona. Bloom, Miller, Jerome, Sturgill, Ellison still your top 5 here. But Bloom holding on, and oh, there it is, Charles. That top 3rd line starting to come in.
Yeah, three wide, 3 to go. We got the 3s going on here. We figured it would happen around this point anyway, and they are doing it. Now, the question is, if you're that 90, are you going to dip down? Yep, he dips down to the inside lane, leaves that high side just dry. They still have 4 trucks. And 3 in the middle, so this will be very interesting. With the 4 there kind of sliding back, as now 1 slides down to the middle, and just like that, so you know, the 3 wide kind of fizzled out about as quick as it happened.
Yeah, it's one of those where you've got enough of a run to take the race lead, and that's exactly what Sturgill did. He got the run, he took the race lead, and now he is going to lead them through the final corner here as we will come to the white flag here. And we talked about when we hit 5 to go. It was between Miller and Bloom. Sturgill came out of nowhere. So now we have, again, 2 lines. We're going to see, is anyone going to risk the run up top as we see the top line forming yet again, the CRN. 1 lap to go here in race number 1. Now they're ducked back in here. No side-by-side action here on the white flag lap in the first set of 30 here. And down in the back chute one final time. And Charles, they're keeping it clean right now. We're going to see, and now we're going to get a little dicey here as people, and there goes the 22 around. That's Ryan Bloom. Now we're going to go 4 wide contact into the corner. Here we go. And there it is, Charles Wooten. It's going to be a drag race to the line. Right now it's Gabe Ellison leading the way, going, and Miller, your top 3 here. And Charles Wooten, he goes from 13th. He survives a big one, and Gabriel Ellison takes home the win.
Well, we said he was a threat, and if he came in here and, he proved it here tonight, as he said, 13th to the win. Well, there you go. You never know what's going to happen. We thought they'd get a little dicey. We basically wadded up the field. But good news is they will get a reset, and we'll go to race number 2 here momentarily. So we'll jump over there as quickly we'll go there as you see the checkered flag. We'll run through your results. We'll be talking to Ellison, going, and Miller here in just a few moments. You have Stan Carnathan, Gage Wenzel, a newer driver. We haven't said his name too many times. Dennis Moore, Michael Jerome, Michael Sturgill, Toby Ritters. Hey, our 2 guys finishing together here in 8th and 9th, followed by Joseph Plager in 10th. 11th through 13th, unfortunately, right at the end, going to be Ryan Bloom, Bradley Rivers, and Michael York. And by the way, Alex, not a single car off the lead lap here as we finish that race number 1.
Yeah, the best part is now with the full invert, Ellison gets to do it again.
Yeah, he's going to go and try to do it one more time. And as we get ready for him to do that, we'll get ready to talk to these top 3 here in just a moment. So we'll step away. When we come back, we'll talk to the top 3 here in just a few moments. All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. As we're going to talk to our top 3, we'll keep the results on the screen so everyone will know who we're talking to, where they finished, and we'll go ahead and jump right into 3rd place. Andrew Miller, first off, good to see you back. Haven't seen you here in a couple of weeks. They've been beating up on you when you were here the last couple of times, but a heck of a finish here in 3rd. Had the lead for a while. You'll obviously be starting towards the rear. Do you have anybody to work with, or is this, just a knockdown, drag-out battle to get back to the front here in race number 2?
I don't know. Just kind of, I didn't start the race with great track position. Just kind of hung around the outside, and people moved down to the bottom, and I was able to position myself in a good line on the outside there, and kind of work my way to the front. Was a very aggressive push in the 22. And that's what got him to the lead one of those times, and then just the 27 wasn't able to get me to the lead. But I don't know, it was... I'm excited to do it again from the back, because I think I started like 12th in the first race. So.
All right, Alex, anything for him?
I got nothing. You took my question.
All right. Well, Andrew, real quick before we let you go, any sponsors on that truck you need to thank?
No, just I appreciate you guys coming out and watching what we like to do and broadcasting it for the lovely people at home. And thanks for everyone at home watching. And have a good night and enjoy the show.
All right, that is your third place driver, of course, of Andrew Miller. And moving on to Nicholas in that 81 machine. And Nicholas, again, we saw you up there. You come away with a second place, just one spot short of the win. Obviously going to be starting, I believe, 12th in the next race. Is it going to be difficult to work your way to the front, or you think you can get there pretty easy?
Not without help. It's not like some of the Xfinity cars where if you get enough momentum, you can just kind of use that third lane to get to the front. Yeah, happy to finish second. Wasn't really expecting it. We had 4 of our cars lined up behind Sturgill there. We pushed him up towards the front, and then couldn't get another one of us clear before he dived down. So I think it was just his one opportunity to get up to the front there. Yeah, happy with the P2, especially avoiding all the carnage there in turn 3 and 4.
And you talk about that top side and the run that you guys got to begin with. Were you expecting to get that much momentum built up and that much of a run even to get one of your cars up front?
It was probably a little bit more than I expected for sure, but as soon as we lost that extra car, all that momentum went away. Because, you saw us wash back towards the back there. It just depends on how much help you have with all that momentum, but hopefully we can all get back together. I'm going to be starting next to last. For this next one, you got Rivers and York starting up front for the first one. So, if we can all get connected, I think we'll be okay.
Well, Nicholas, before we let you go, also any shout-out sponsors you need to thank for that second place finish here tonight?
Thank you guys first and foremost for doing the broadcast. I'd like to thank the rest of the team, Eon Motorsports, and Rapid Fire Pizza, team sponsor. So we'll see you in the next one.
All right, and that is Nicholas going your second place runner-up. And that leaves us with a guy who wins a lot. He's got now this makes 51 or 52 wins over here. Gabriel Ellison. I want to ask you, hey, is it going to be hard to start in the back and go to the front? But you already did it. So you just did it in the last race. So, we'll just avoid that question. And how tough was it to go from the front or from the rear to the front here from 13th to 1st?
Yeah, they were racing pretty hard up there, and I just kept pushing that top line, hoping that eventually there'd be an opportunity for a third lane or something. I was kind of just riding like 5th or 6th for the back half of that. And then right there at the end, they got real mixy, and the top line opened up, and I went up there, and it was the perfect time because everyone decided to crash except me and Nick, I think. So, I just stayed on the wall and hoped no one come up and kill me, and that's what happened. So, right place, right time. But the plan all along was to try to go on the top and make something happen. And even without the crash, I would have had a good shot at win. But it always helps when they just kill each other.
Well, we said it right before we got a hold of you. Is it going to be so nice that you can do it twice, starting in the back and working your way up front here? And again, it's not that much of a different track here, but now you got a little bit of time. And always the joke is now you got some time to cool off that momentum, but is that momentum going to run all the way through another 30 laps? Yeah,
I hope so. I'm going to go out there and go to the front as quick as I can, try to get up there. It's a smaller field, but still, track position is super important in these things when you can't get these massive runs like the next gen car has, where you can just bumper slam and fly around people. You really got to fight for the track position because no one's going to give it up. So hopefully I can get some good runs early and find my way up there.
Well, again, a good run. You go from 13th to 1st. Well, hopefully you got some sponsors on that car. If not, somebody get here and sponsor him. I mean, he just went from last to first, and they'll probably do it again the next race. So anyone you got to give a shout out to on that truck here tonight.
Yeah, huge shout out to Aspiration Homes as well as simracerhub.com. Then, as always, huge thanks to LSRTV for putting this broadcast on.
All right, again, that is Gabriel Ellison, your winner here in race number 1. We still got about 6 minutes of downtime. We will be back for race number 2. Alex, before we step away and kind of wrap up race number 1 and get back to our normal home over in VMix, what are your thoughts here on race number 1, and what are we expecting in number 2?
Well, I think, guys, now the feeling out process is a little bit over here. Now it's time. The gloves will be off, I think, a little bit earlier. I still think first 15 laps will be clean, but after that, I think the guys that we'll see starting up front, if they do not stay up front, they will fight and claw their way back up to the front because they do not want to finish in back for back-to-back races here. While the guys starting in the back, like Ellison and Miller, they're going to have a long way to go and a short time to get there with only 30 laps. And it's going to be a hard trek to go. But again, anything can happen in 30 laps, especially at Daytona.
It definitely can. And that being said, we're going to step aside here for just a moment. We will be back here shortly, right after a quick commercial break. Thank the sponsors, get hydrated, and we'll be back for race number 2.
We ready, it's time. It's nothing but hustle inside of the huddle. You know that I grind. A dangerous mind, a weapon of choice when pushing the line. Go overtime and I won't break when it's crunch time. My end game is number 1. Bet it all, give me my cash. Supreme game, can't stop it. Take off like a rocket. Break it back, don't bend mine. I'm the one now, you can't hide. Legendary like legacy. This is our moment, our time. This is our moment. This is our time. Time is now. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. Yeah. Coming for glory. We ready for war. The city's behind us. We giving you more. We ready whenever. The world is watching. The time is now. No other option. No other way. Play to win the way that we play. Destined for greatness, born to be great. Ahead of the game. In front of the pack, leading the way. It's time to reign. The kingdom's here. This is our year. Been to the bottom, ain't nothing to fear. We running the game. Rush in the field for every yard, on every play. Nobody safe. Rise when we fall, but never stay down. The champs is here. Doing it for the 10. This is our moment. This is our time. The time is now. It's time to rise. This is our moment. This is our time. This is our time. It's our moment. It's our time. Feet in the dirt. Nose to the grind. Like moment after moment. Day after day. It's our time.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Hi, welcome to Day Motorsports. Come on, check out what we got.
Thank you for keeping Day Motorsports in business for over 50 years.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. With about 30 seconds left to go before race number 2 starts, we don't have to worry about qualifying. That is set. Is again the field going to be inverted for race number 2? We mentioned it earlier, Alex. I think tonight, our second race tonight, is going to be a little more chaotic. These guys trying to come through. They could prove us wrong and go very low caution or caution free, but I think we're going to see that one as these guys the fast guys trying to work their way to the front. So it's going to get real interesting here in about 1 minute.
Yeah, it's going to be another interesting one here. 30 laps. It's honestly, I expect the same thing. I expect the quick one here. I expect the first 20 laps to be clean and green. And then after that, gloves are off. And it's when we let the men play.
Yeah, they are going to be playing here soon as we'll take a look at your starting grid for tonight's race. And I feel like a little hockey announcer there. Your starting lineup in the 25, that is going to be Michael York. And the number 25 on row 1 is outside. It's going to be Bradley Rivers. In the 15 on row 2 is going to be the 22 of Ryan Bloom and the 97 of Joseph Plager. And row 3 going to be Toby Ritters. Didn't have quite the race he wanted to in the race number 1. He'll bounce back here. Number 2 on his outside, the 90 of Michael Sturgill. So our guys starting side by side here in race number 2. Row number 4 going to be the 29 of Michael Garone and the 44 of Dennis Moore. Row 5 going to be the 108 of Gage Wenzel and the 82 of Stan Carnathan. Row number 5 going to be the 18 of Andrew Miller, your third place finisher in the last race, and the 81 of Nicholas Gowen. In the number 81, he finished in second, and rounding out the field where he started the first race, and he'll be starting this race as well, the 27 of Gabriel Ellison. Again, no real difference here, Alex, for your race winner. He started there last time. He'll start there this time, and he'll be looking to put it back-to-back victories, which has only been done twice here in this series since November when we started.
Yeah, so it was so nice that he started 13th. Well, and he took basically did our strategy there, not qualifying, starting all the way in the back, and now going from the back. He's going to have to work his way back up to the front yet again here for possibly back-to-back wins at Daytona, but a lot of tough competition in front of him yet again. York, Rivers, Bloom, Plager, Ritters, all up front for this one here. For the 30 laps, going to be another interesting race.
And I want to wait and see. You know, you've got the 22 and the 23 right there together. If we can see if Bloom can get up there to him, he's not too far behind. He's sitting in, Moore, who's sitting in 8th place right now. Can he get up there to those guys quickly? And can they work as a team here? They tried to in the last race, but they never really could get all three of them together And, we talked about the first race and had some really nice looking rides. Look at this number 25. I like the neon number. And you got the black and grayish silver Lowe's Cobalts. Obviously a tribute throwback there to the one and only Jimmy Johnson. And a nice looking ride in that number 25 machine.
Here we go again, passing the Geico restart zone. 30 lap citizens green flag out here for race number 2. York Rivers will lead us down the front straightaway into turn number 1 and 2. We're going to have to wait and see here how long it takes before somebody makes the line change here. And right there, you see that top line a little out of sorts already, and right there, Rivers is going to make the line change in turn 1. So already not hesitating getting to that bottom line.
Yeah, and it makes you you kind of wonder if they had race 1, they knew what the truck could do, they knew the people around them, what they were going to do, and now they're really starting to shuffle up a lot. As we're going to let's zoom out a little bit, we'll take a look, and man, look how just the shovel that outside or inside lane is. Only 4, 5, 6, 7, but they are not together at all. Is all that shaking and a baking and a moving going on between these guys really messed with the lineup as we complete lap number 1. 29 laps to go, and well, just like that, they're back together, Alex, and didn't take them long.
Yeah, 2 laps in, already a little bit out of sorts, and back together they will go. And that's the fun about racing plate track super speedways with how the draft works. You can get out of sorts, but as long as you don't lose that draft, you are still together. So 2 laps in the books here. Rivers, York, Plager, Wenzel, Sturgill is your top 5 right now. As the one surprise, you got to talk about Ritters. Toby Ritters, he is back 7 spots, but guess who he's with? He's with Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore. Teammates going to work together here, and you see they might be playing a little bit here, a cat and mouse game as they want to stay away in case something early happens that collected Toby Ritters in that first race.
Yeah, you get collected in the first run, that's what he goes. Shame on me, shame on you, shame on me if you get caught in again. You do not want to make that mistake, or maybe not even your mistake, just getting caught in somebody else's. And obviously, if you're Ryan Bloom right now, who's back here with Toby Ritters, they've kind of slid back. Bloom does not want to get turned again as he did in the first race. Kind of got hooked, turned around, and that was really what set off that complete chaos that was the final lap. So, they're trying to avoid that this time around. They're going to stay a little further back in this race. The question is, will their teammate come back there? And he does. There's Dennis Moore. So, you got Win Racing. They are staying in the back. They're not even attempting to get to the front here. And that, I think is probably a winning strategy, Alex.
Yeah, you can't blame them there again, like we said. After that first race there, when you were up front, you got collected in the big one. Maybe do and take some notes from what Ellison, as well as, Ellison, Miller, what those guys did. They stayed a little bit further in the back there, didn't force the issue, and they got away with a top podium finishes because they weren't involved in that big one. And again, right now we're closing in on 5 in the book here early on in this one. And it takes a little bit, and you look at the top side here. 3 cars on the bottom, everyone else up top out of the 13. So 10 cars in that top line, 3 on the bottom, but you see that bottom line still keeping pace with that top side.
Yeah, and we'll see how long they do. And, I'm really shocked. In the last couple of races we've had, the top line was very dominant. But as you just mentioned, that isn't the case here tonight. That inside lane is holding their own against them, and they've got 3 cars, and they got 2 more coming into the picture. I believe that's Plager in the 97. He is on the high side. This is 27. They look identical, except for the number. The 27 is going to come in there, and I thought maybe the 97 of Plager was going to slide down, but he does not. However, the 18 of Miller is going to slide up into the outside lane. And now the inside lane starting to have the momentum. So back and forth here, depending on which lane has the momentum, is really the one you want to be in.
Oh, absolutely. But again, still, it's 4 against 9. But you got to look, and you see Ritters, Bloom, Moore going the car around. And that is Wenzel. So we'll see. He's off the track here. So I think we're going to stay green here. And that is only going to hurt the 108 of Wenzel, the 48 on the car, the 108 on the ticker of Wenzel. That's going to hurt a lot because now he is 13 seconds behind. He is out of the draft. Right now what he needs is someone to cause a caution for him to get back in it. Or, again, if we go green to checkered and the big one happens on that white flag lap, him being this far back might open the door that he could possibly clear the way. But again, he is 17 seconds already back from the leaders and that lead pack. So it's going to hurt a lot of time. When you think Miller, he was a little bit collected. He's 2 seconds behind. You see him there in that green. He's a little bit further back than I think he wants to be right now. But he's losing that draft. It's going to hurt. So when you're sitting there, 12th and 13th, it happens to the drivers when they least expect it. We saw it there. No caution flag comes out. And right now it's going to hurt them. Possibly not in the long run, but right now for the short run, it's hurting them big time.
Yeah, and if I'm Wenzel and I can catch up with the 18 of Miller, which he's going to be able to, I would imagine, with the whole front of that 18 missing, I think he'll probably catch him. You know, if I'm them too, I want to get that 18 behind me because he is not going to be the best draft help in front because of the front missing. Put him in the back and it will still hurt, but it won't be as bad because the air will kind of go over the hood and miss that front bumper. As we'll see if those two do get together at some point to try to catch this pack or, you know, at least not fall as far behind as they're going to. Because remember, the first race, nobody was off the lead lap. So far, that is the case now. We'll see if it plays out that way as you still have Ritters, Bloom, and Moore hanging in the back while everyone else is bobbing and weaving and making moves here as we're on lap number 9, 22 to go. It feels like it's me, Alex. Maybe it's just me. We're clicking these laps off a little bit quicker than we did in the first one.
You got to talk about the bold strategy here from over half the field in this lead pack. Everyone except for 3 cars make it 4 cars on the top side here compared to the bottom side, but the bottom side still holding strong here. And now you see one driver in the mid-pack there, pulled down to the bottom, losing the draft, and it kind of made a mistake there for guys like Ritters, Bloom, and Moore because now they're out of that draft because of York pulling down there. It's going to hurt that last pack there. They're going to have to hope and pray to get back in the draft sooner than later or they're going to start falling behind as well.
Yeah, that's the last thing you want is to fall behind. You know, their best bet is these guys getting a little bit of a skirmish and they, cause a caution, then they can able to obviously get back up there and not have to do anything. Obviously, no fast repair, so that, they're not going to have that chance. And by the way, this is one of the few leagues we do here on the channel that has no green, white, checkered attempts, and the reasoning behind it is they could do it on this race, but because the other race is technically considered a heat race, even though we run it as a full complete race, you can't have green, white, checkers in that, so no green, white, checkers. So if we get a caution late in this race with about 5 or less to go, that will be considered the race, and these guys know that as well. So they don't really want to have a late race caution because they have no chance of getting the win if that comes out with about 5 to go.
Yeah, so 20 laps to go. Ellison up front, just like we expect him to be, back up front. And here's the fear for that 27 truck. He was up front, he was gaining ground, he made big moves, and then that caution came out. Under 20 laps to go here. Now is where some of these drivers, the gloves might come off. These guys might make a run, and you got to keep an eye on Ryan Bloom, Dennis Moore, Toby Ritters. Those 3 cars, we've seen it. They have gained ground on the pack, but you notice they let off a little bit. They don't want to be near it right now because it's a high risk, low reward in the early stages. Now with under 20 to go, you want to get back in the race here. You want to get close to that top 5 and possibly even the top 3.
Yeah, it is a very high risk, low reward, and now they've moved to the bottom. They were on the high side for a little bit, but they're going to come down to the bottom and see what that's going for them. And you're right, they're gaining, then they'll slow down a little bit. They don't want to gain too much, just enough to really where they don't lose the draft. That's exactly what they're doing, and we're going to see Carnathan take the lead for the first time, and, well, Ellison takes it right back. Here is, again, we'll take a look here very quickly. Lead changes 6 in this race. We forgot to look in the first race, but your race summary presented by VA811.com. Dig with care. No cautions, no caution laps so far, but 6 lead changes. And again, that's only at the line. We've had way more lead changes than that if you count just right now where they're swapping it back and forth, Alex.
Yeah, and that's always the best part and the fun part about if you watch the lead changes at a racetrack like Daytona, like Talladega, compared to somewhere like maybe a Martinsville or even a road course race. You might get only 4 or 5 lead changes out of 100 laps. Here, you could get 4 or 5 lead changes in 1 lap, depending on how quick these cars are and how the give and take is in the draft. It's always fun to watch the lead changes here, but it never matters until you hit that final lap of who's leading this race.
Yeah, you can lead all the laps you want, but like you said, the only one that matters is, in this case, lap number 30, as we have 17 to go. We're going to be at that magic mark you mentioned earlier, 15 to go here very shortly, as we are coming to the line to make it 16 laps to go, just about the halfway point. And right now, you got a good line on the inside. That is, of course, your Sim Racer Hub trucks. Taking the lead on their outside, that is the 90 of Sturgill. So good job for them, and we're going to have our first trucks go a lap down here momentarily.
Yeah, so this is definitely not where you wanted to be there, as especially for Miller. But Miller, a lot of damage on the front of that truck. There was no really gaining ground there, especially him and Wenzel. No caution came out when those two got together, and Wenzel went down. No caution, hurting them both, as both of them now a lap down. Only one truck will be lucky enough, and the caution comes out for that lucky dog. That will be Wenzel. Miller, he would have to hope for 2 cautions if he wants a chance at a lucky dog to get back on this lead lap, but a lot of damage on that truck for him to even have a chance to get back in to the top 10, top 5 here with 15 laps to go.
Yeah, he needs a lot of luck and a caution. And again, Sim Racer Hub guys out front here at the moment, but we're keeping a very close eye on this group right here. As you see the 48 of Wenzel, Gage Wenzel, he is kind of tucked in behind the 02, and we'll see if he can do something. He's actually going to try to pass the 22. Not sure that would be the strategy I'd be employing right now. He really needs to hang with them and just go, but it looks like those 3 are really hammering the brakes, as the 48th is going to say see you later and blow by him. I think they're letting him go. They don't want to be a part of that.
It's a bold strategy for 48. It is definitely a bold strategy, to say the least, as he's getting up there. But now the issue with it is, what are you going to do once you get by these lead packs? You're still going to be close to a lap down, and then you still got to hope for a caution if you want to get back into the race for the top 10. But before that, you have to pass the race leaders for a chance to be on the lead lap, for a caution to come out. And right now, time is going to start dwindling a lot quicker here, because we're coming to 13 to go. Ellison leading the way here again. But again, you got to keep an eye on Wenzel. That lap truck right in the middle here, right behind that lead pack on the bottom. It could be a bold strategy for him, or he could get caught up in something else and end up costing himself a race.
Yeah, it's, like you mentioned, pretty much hitting the nail on the head there. He needs to do what he's doing, but it's also scary to do what he's doing, and it's scary for the guys around him, knowing that he's not on the lead lap. The good news is, if you're some of these drivers around him, he knows he can't be involved in a caution. So yes, he's going to be a little aggressive to get up there, but I think he'll do it cleanly. He obviously, like I just mentioned, he needs a caution, but he can't be a part of the caution. So yeah, I think he's going to race fairly clean. As I say that, he is dodging and weaving and really making some aggressive moves out there in that 48. On the flip side of this, Alex, if he takes out somebody who is in contention for the win, they are not going to take too kindly to that either.
It's going to get dicey. Again, we talked about that first race wasn't really dicey until the white flag hit. Now you have lap traffic in. We said the gloves would be off. They're going to be off here. If they're not already for Wenzel, they're off 100%, as that truck wants to get back on the lead lap. He wants a chance to contend for this win. As you see, though, he's starting to lose ground on the draft. He's going to have to get back up to it. But again, Moore, Bloom, and Ritters, got to keep an eye on those three. They're keeping safe distance between themselves and this lead pack here, with coming next time by will be 10 laps to go.
Yeah, they're playing the very safe and conservative route. And, you know, it obviously can pay off big time for you here in this race. As Ellison's still out front leading this race in that 27 machine. Carnathan behind him. Lager, Sturgill, they're battling it out. We're coming to 10 to go this time by, and this is where it's going to get interesting, because strategies. We'll hammer it in. You know, you're coming up to 10 to go. Really, that gives you 5 laps. So you need a caution within technically about 4 laps. If you do not get a caution, if you were that 48, I think you back off a little bit. Because if we get a caution with 5 to go, race is over regardless. There's no green, white checker. So if you don't see a caution or you don't get back on the lead lap within 4 laps, if I'm the 48, I'm going to back off a little bit, because this is not my fight. I don't have a dog in the battle. I'm going to let these guys go duke it out.
Don't have a dog in the fight, but you know how it is. You want to be a part of it. It's Daytona. You want to be a part of it as much as you possibly can. You see now, it's again a bold strategy right now, as we're going to have almost 3 wide. They thought about it, but now we're going to go back to 2 here. And yeah, this is where, with under 10 to go, this is where it's going to get sketchy. Our guy's going to try and make that third line work. We saw it work for Sturgill. He got up front. He took the race lead, but it hurt the rest of his teammates. Is anyone going to have to do it here again?
Yeah, that's the question. And, you know, I think the 48 or 108 of Wenzel took our advice. He actually is in the rear of this now, so he's pushing. He's pushing these guys, but he's not getting up there trying to get his lap back anymore. So, you know, it's commendable. He knows that his time is not tonight, so he may push some drivers, but he's not going to get up there and push issues because we're coming to 8 to go. At this point, this race is pretty much over. We're not going to say it is over, but it's getting close to that point of no return, as they're side by side, Ellison and Carnathan. This is going to get wild. We saw the first one in it, Alex, and I have a feeling we may see that in the second one as well.
And now, again, you got to talk about strategies. We saw Sturgill and his team work together well to put him in a possible opportunity to win the first race. Now he's up front again. Not quite sure where the rest of his teammates are on the field, but I think the only teammates we saw work together since the green flag dropped has been those guys that we talked about from the Northwest Race Series, and that is in Bloom, Ritters. But now you got to talk about it. Ritters trying that bottom side, as now here we go. Possible third line coming in here, but only 2 trucks right now on that top side. It's going to have to take more than 2 trucks here. It took 4 for them to get a chance here. Is anyone else going to go up top here, or are they going to leave them out to dry?
Yeah, this is going to get real interesting, as you're right. They're going up there. Teammates to it, except for Toby Ritters. Ritters on the bottom side. Kind of left his teammates there, but we'll see if he can get back up there. May not been of choice, as the 25's there. If he wasn't there, he could probably jump up to the line with him. As you said, 3 wide. And we're coming to 6 laps to go. Again, 1 lap to that point of no return. I really like that the 48 is kind of tucked back, and he's going to find a line, and he's going to push these guys. So, you know, right now he's doing some of these guys a favor. He's picking a line and pushing, and that's what you need. We'll see if he maybe could if he pushes that top line. I think that would really help him out. We'd have a really good 3-wide finish.
That top line, it's getting somewhere. It needs about a car, if not 2 cars. Would be great to see Toby Ritters up there, and then you would have a 3-car tandem that possibly could compete. As right now, keep an eye on Ritters. He has a chance he could possibly go up, as he had the space to do it, but I think he does not. That window has closed again as York closes back in on that middle line here. So now you see the 48. He's going to try and join the fray of Wenzel up top, but he's going to have to gain that draft very quickly as that top line start to close in on your race leaders.
Yeah, and I'm still interested that, you know, we broke this teammate partnership up there, but it could be some kind of strategy they're working. We'll see. You know, if they can work it around, they can still make this a 1-2-3 finish. As, again, you need somebody on that outside lane. They are making a little bit of progress, just not quite enough. I think if we can get whoever's on that middle row, if you would have got them in front just a wee bit, that is the 82 of Carnathan, I thought so. If you could get him on that inside row, that might kind of even these rows out a little bit, and that would make it really interesting, but so far that is not happening with 4 to go.
You see now Carnathan on the middle side, Ellison on the bottom, and more up top. That is your top 3 right now, and top 3 in 3 different lanes as the 48 now of Wenzel. He joined that top line, making it a 3-car tandem here. If Ritters would join, but Ritters still, again, on that bottom side has no window. Possibly has a window there going into the corner, but no more. And contact being made. They're going to try and save it, but now it's costly. Caution flag may or may not come out here. They're still green coming down the front chute here with 4 to go. Coming to 3 to go here. Green flag is still in the air here. We might be able to still finish this under green flag, but now that bottom side, there's nobody, as now here we go. It's going to separate the field. We're going to try and see what happens. Everyone's trying to feel it out, but that middle line disappears. The top line has something, and Toby Ritters somewhere in the mix.
Yeah, I'm not sure who that was, and there we'll see it. It's the 15 of Bradley Rivers. Just gets hammered into the outside wall, and that will throw the caution with 3 to go. Well, that unfortunately is going to do it. This race is all but over. As we'll take a look at the replay and see exactly what happened. But with no green-white checkers, the race is over. And, well, it just got a little hairy, and unfortunately the flagman said, I have no choice but to throw the caution.
And we knew it was coming.
And right there, Bloom and Rivers get together, going backwards on the track. Unfortunately triggered it. He was on the racing surface just a bit too long, and that's what had to unfortunately bring the caution out. But not the way anybody wants to see a race end, but it's going to be Stan Carnathan that's going to get the win here officially in 2 laps. Right now, unofficially, with the no green-white checkered.
A little disappointing.
Yeah, definitely, and not the way anybody wanted to see this one go.
It's actually it's Daytona, and after yesterday's finish, I have to. Yeah. Now it's just a waiting game.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's just a waiting game, you know. Like you said, we got some people pitting. I don't sure maybe they were damaged, but little fakeroo going on with the 2 now make it final lap. again, it is what it is. One of those things that happens. A little disappointing for us both, but yeah, that's just the way the cookie crumbles sometimes, Alex.
Well, at least we get 2 new faces in this podium. Actually, no, we get 1. 1, right? 2. We get 2.
Do what?
Trying to think here. 2 new faces in the podium here, Charles,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, we got Carnathan and I believe Sturgill? Yes. But Ellison was in there.
Yeah, so 2 new faces. So out of it, 5 different people on the podium here tonight. So not a disappointing night. You can't complain about that when you get to talk to 5 different drivers. It could be one of those nights where you talk to 3 drivers and they sweep the whole night. But no, we got 5 different drivers, almost 6 different drivers there. And who would have known? But let's be honest here. Gabe Ellison made the Toyotas proud tonight. Him and Miller, actually, correction. Him and Andrew Miller, the 2 Toyotas who finished on the podium in the first race. So a Toyota finished both races on the podium tonight. Sadly for the one Ford, just not the night for the Ford truck.
Yeah, just again, not the way he wanted it either. And got a few drivers now out of this race. And yeah, I did think the second race would get a little wild and crazy compared to the first one. It did not disappoint, as there you see finishing. And everyone will cross the line. The lights will go off, and that will unfortunately end this race. As there you go, the lights are off. Well, there we go. Now the lights are off, and this race is considered officially finished. As we'll take a look at your results, and again, not the way we wanted it to finish, but Stan Carnathan picking up the win, followed by Michael Sturgill and Gabriel Ellison. We'll be talking to those top 3 here momentarily, followed by Nicholas Gowen, Michael York, Ryan Bloom, Toby Ritters, right there together. Michael Garone in 8th, 9th Lee Dennis Moore. So the teammates almost finished 1, 2, 3 with each other, just not 1, 2, 3 in the race. Gage Wenzel, 2 laps down, but he is still able to get a top 10 finish, so good job for him. Bradley Rivers, Joseph Plager, and Andrew Miller, after a good run in the first one, not the way he wanted to go here in race number 2. But Alex, obviously a little bit wilder race, didn't finish under green, but looking forward to talking to these top 3. So I guess we'll jump over there. We'll take a quick break here for just a second. When we get back, we'll talk to the top 3 here in Victory Lane, and don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with our top three drivers here in the post-race show. And, he got the win in the first one from 13th to 1st. Not quite where he probably wanted to be. He got to 3rd place. Gabriel, you get 3rd. You almost got it. And then, of course, you might have had a shot, but the caution came out and said, nope, I'm winning this race. Pace truck goes by first. But overall, your thoughts on this second race? Was it as easy to get to the front, or was it a little harder?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. That one was actually much easier because I managed to get hooked up with a couple of teammates, with Joseph and Michael. And, we had the bottom rolling pretty good. And I think if I remember right, they almost wrecked. And a couple of guys did wreck, I think. And it opened up the bottom, and we managed to get together. And then we were in a really good spot all the way up till Joseph. I think he just let it run hot for too long, didn't get enough air, and blew that bad boy up, and that was pretty much it. So, yeah, but even after that, I managed to recover. I was running right behind Stan. I think I would have had a good shot at it. I was definitely going to give Stan everything I had there for that last couple laps. But I think the back of the pack there had a little something going on, so we brought it home 3rd.
Alex, you got anything for him?
Not really.
Well, in that case, we'll let him thank his partners and sponsors and, anyone he just wants to say thank you to. Go ahead, Gabriel.
Yep, as always, huge thanks to Aspiration Homes, SimRacerHub.com. Congrats to Stan on the big W there. And, yeah, thanks everybody for coming out.
All right, again, that's your 3rd place finisher of Gabriel Ellison. We go over to Michael Sturgill in the 90. Michael, you had a run. Again, the caution kind of bit us there at the end. Nobody was wanting that. Had that caution not come out, do you think you had the truck to put it in victory lane here in this second race?
Yeah, possibly. I forget who was behind me, Nick, so I would have had a good pusher behind me, but I mean, yeah, it sucks not finishing under green, but glad to see Stan pick up the win there.
And I believe Alex is being shy today. He don't have anything for you. We'll ask you this, comparing the two races is, in all the races we've had so far, we seem to see a little more chaos and beating and banging in the second race. That continued to here. We only have one race left here. Are we expecting, probably the same thing in that one? Hopefully, with any luck, we've had a good turnout tonight, and, maybe we'll build on that next week.
Yeah, we're at Chicagoland next week, right?
I believe so, yes.
Yeah, that could be a bit chaotic. Big track, there's plenty of different lanes to run in, and if it stays packed up, yeah, we could see some more chaos for sure.
Before we let you go, any sponsors on the side of that truck, the hood of the truck, and anyone you just want to shout out?
Shout out to you guys for putting on the broadcast, Clinton, all the admins, all the drivers that showed up tonight. That was nice having a decent sized field. Everyone at Eons, Moscow Joe's, and just want to congratulate Stan on his first win of the season.
Again, congrats on a second, and that will move us to our race winner here tonight, Stan Carnathan. You get the win here tonight, and I'm going to ask you this question mainly because I haven't had dinner and I'm hungry, and I can literally hear my stomach growling at me, like saying, "Why have you not fed me yet?" You're the winner. So are you going to go get a chicken dinner here and celebrate this win?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I have yet to eat all day today, so I I am 100%.
Alex, you got anything for him? We may have lost Alex.
I think Alex might have went to bed.
Yeah, I think he checked out. He's going to dinner. He's at IHOP by now. But, we won't keep you long. Obviously, you want to get some dinner yourself. But, we talked about how tougher the second race typically is. And it was a hard-fought battle, especially it wasn't the biggest group, but it was definitely a competitive group. So what was your strategy coming in here to get to the front and hold off this field?
Yeah, I didn't want to be stuck on the bottom. I was able to get to the middle there, and it just kind of worked out. I had two teammates that were willing to stick there, and like I said, I really had no intention of leaving the middle until I absolutely needed to, and there towards the end I needed to right before the caution, and it still kind of worked out. But yeah, I mean, shout out to Sturgill there and Nick behind him and the teammates for sticking together. And like I told them, I would have loved to see it go green. I think probably would have been 3 wide at the line, but appreciate Clinton and Gabe and everybody, on the sim racer side of putting this on and trying to get fields out here that are competitive, and these guys are pretty good. So.
Well, definitely, we just got your shout outs there, and we're looking forward to the next race. Obviously, the season finale, we're wrapping it up here for the Winter Series, so we will definitely be there. Question last before we let you go, or are you going to be at that last race to wrap up the season?
Yeah, I believe so. I like Chicago. Obviously, it'll be a lot different than tonight. There'll be some tire saving and trying to find out which line is fastest, because it'll change. We'll be wrapping the bottom and then be trying to search for the top, as the bottom kind of wears out after the new dynamic track update. So it'll be good. Chicago always puts on a good show.
Well, looking forward to being there and being here all season, wrapping it up next Tuesday night. And again, congrats on the win tonight, Stan.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you.
And that being said, we only have one more person to talk to, and that is you, Alex. We got you back. Had a little mixer issue, but we got that sorted out. Just your final thoughts here. Good race. Another good race. Just didn't end the way we wanted to under caution. But overall, what are your thoughts? And, how was it for you?
It's Daytona. It's plate racing. I love it. Entertaining from the get-go, from the start to the finish. It's always fun. I don't care what anyone says. Plate racing is one of the best racing. I would rather watch super speedway racing and speedway racing than short track racing, but that's just my opinion. If I'm going to watch short track racing, that's a dirt thing. Big track racing is asphalt thing, and that's why I love Daytona.
Yes, definitely a plate racing, I agree, is one of the best forms of asphalt racing, and I definitely agree. If it ain't plate racing, you might as well be on dirt, because that is real. The real racing happens. But a very good night of racing here on behalf of myself, Alex Robinson, everyone at LSRTV. We hope you have a great rest of your night. We'll see you tomorrow night with the Full Throttle Sim Racing Trucks on a Wednesday night, followed by Stars and Stripes on Thursday, and then we head off for some real racing on the weekend. And make sure, if you haven't, check out Race on Texas Facebook page. Make sure you follow it. One of our great partners over here. A lot going on in the next couple of days on the 22nd. So again, for all of them, myself, Charles, have a good night, and we'll see you tomorrow night.